This episode is brought to you by Google Pixel, the official fan phone of the NBA and WNBA. The new Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro are built different. How? Take the Audio Magic Eraser tool. It helps block out distracting crowd noise so your play-by-play commentary sounds crystal clear. The only phone engineered by Google brings out the audio you care about so your videos sound as crisp as they look. Learn more at googlestore.com/pixelnba. Audio Magic Eraser requires Google Photos app. May not work on all audio elements.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I'm honestly just browsing through some games right now, seeing which ones I can either, I don't want to like go all crazy on a game because it seems like there's games, but today though, it seems like games are just cheap. Like, they're cheap, but they're just not good and stuff. So, anyways, but no, actually what I wanted to talk on, and I know some people probably think that it's silly, but I'm like, if I was handed a contract right now to be like a professional wrestler, I would go through all the training. I would go and do whatever, like, pretty much do whatever it takes to, like, eventually work my way up to the big leagues, like either Impact Wrestling, freaking WWE, AEW, or any other, like, shows. And so, well, I feel like that my ties is probably cut with Impact Wrestling, because I know I used to be a little critical of them and stuff. So that's something I'm like, if it were to ever come to light, I'd just be like, look, I was a kid, like, I had, like, well, actually, no, I think when I was, like, overly critical, I think I was, like, at least over the age, so I'm like, but I just had, like, a kid mentality and stuff. So as the time progressed on, then I was like, oh, okay, like, I was talking about them blindly and stuff, so I never really sat down and watched it, Impact Wrestling. But from what I've seen, like, I've seen that it's good and stuff, but it's just, when you grow up being just strictly a WWE fan, that's how it usually goes and stuff. But no, like, actually, it wouldn't even have to be that. I'm just like, hey, yo, let me bring my camera gear and all of that, and I'll record the match myself. Like, I don't care if I gotta wear a GoPro camera right in the middle of my match. But yeah, I definitely hands down would I would love to do some stuff like that, because I think, like, every YouTuber right now wants to get into, like, boxing and stuff, and I'm like, nah, man, because it's not like boxing is boring, or either, like, MMA, but them are, like, the two, like, deadly sports. I've really never heard nobody die after an MMA or, UFC fight, but I'm not going to say, but I mean, even in wrestling, if you get hit the wrong way or the wrong thing happens, like, yeah, it can be pretty bad for you and stuff. So, but that's why I'm like, look, I just tell the wrestler, like, okay, these are the things that I'm comfortable with, and these are the things that I'm not comfortable with. But at the end of the day, like, I do want to put on a show for people and stuff, and, give them something to watch. But I'm like, hey, yo, if you have not, like, my thing is, do a move that you done numerous times. Don't try to switch it up, and then next thing you know, I'm like that wrestler that just gets the worst end of the stick and stuff, because yeah, it's like I've seen when, wrestlers where it's like moves that they'll do, and I'm like, that didn't look too good and stuff. That actually looked quite uncomfortable. And so that's why I'm like, nah, don't do that to me. But no, because I remember there was this, it was like an old wrestling match, but this wrestler, he did, like, I think it was a pile driver. He did some wrestling move to the guy and slammed him the wrong way, and yeah, next thing you know, there's like that guy, he was like paralyzed, neck down, like, and it's been like that since the 90s, bruh. So that's why I'm like, hey, yo, like, and make sure that either the ring or something is like heavily padded, so I won't be in no situation like that, because man, that would be really messed up. Like, dang, bruh, I just came out here to entertain people, and this is what happens. Like, man, like that's overall messed up. But anyways, but actually, no, like, getting back to talking on it and stuff, like being a professional wrestler, because for those that don't know, I think it surprises a lot of people, but for those that don't know, I've been a wrestling fan ever since I was a kid. I remember when I had moved into my like second place, and I had my own room, I got my own TV, and I was like, dang, I was like, I don't know what to watch, I don't know what to really get into, and in them summer nights, when you just up in things and you don't really feel like playing video games and you just kind of want to see what's on TV. Like, yeah, there's times I'll just be flipping through the channels, and then next thing you know, Monday Night Raw was on, or Friday Night SmackDown. I think first show I ever watched though was Friday Night SmackDown, and I remember it too because that was the brand that Batista and Undertaker was signed to, and it was like I remember when I really started getting into wrestling, it was right after WrestleMania 23. And that's like I still remember the first thing I seen on wrestling that had me hooked, bruh. Like, you would think, like, oh, man, this just wrestling fake, bro. Wrestling this, that, and blah, blah. I don't care. But anyways, so that's what I had seen. So Batista had speared Undertaker, like, off spearing is, like, kind of like a tackling move if you don't know what it is. But it's just you're pretty much running full speed at a wrestler, and you just use your, like shoulder strength to, like, kind of just tackle them and stuff. And that's what Batista did. But he did it off of the stage. And when he did that, they fell into this area, like, where the, part of the stage was built, and then that part fell down on top of them, and a big explosion happened. And you would think, like, now when you think about it, you're like, hey, yo, how did two people do that? But then but even now, I still see that moment, and I'm just like, man, like, that was it. Like, that was the moment that got me so hooked into wrestling and stuff. So, yeah, I remember just, watching that and was like, hey, yo, I gotta watch more of this. So eventually it was just, I remember I was, like, going, like, beyond my, like, bedtime and stuff to watch wrestling. And, growing up, I'm, like, sitting there, like, begging my parents. I'm like, no, I gotta watch this because this is a championship match tonight. So I gotta watch it tonight. Any other night, cool. But no, tonight, I'm like, I gotta watch it and stuff. So... But anyways, yeah, so eventually it led into, like, that, and then just to, them guys like, oh, okay, well, yeah, we know wrestling comes on, like, Mondays. Well, they've always changed it up for, like, SmackDown. I remember SmackDown was Tuesday night SmackDown, Thursday night SmackDown. Now it went back to Friday night SmackDown, but originally it was Friday night SmackDown, but they changed it. ECW used to come on, but it was like this new age ECW. It wasn't like the ECW back in the day. And then they had NXT coming on at one point in time, but then they took NXT off, had it where it was just a streaming show, and then it ended up going right back on TV. And I'm like, that was just dumb. I don't know why they would do that. And then AEW came out, and then that's what brought me right back to being that wrestling fan that I was when I was a kid. Now, I think I've talked on this before, like AEW versus WWE. And here's the thing. Both of those brands are, good brands. For those that aren't wrestling fans, like, WWE is, like, probably the longest running, like, wrestling brand out there and stuff. Like, I really don't know any other wrestling brand that can compete. But AEW had definitely made sure of it that, hey, yo, we can compete. And yeah, AEW, like, that's the one thing that I really, I had to say, like, what I like about AEW is that they're not closed off like WWE. Like, I think that probably would have led me into being more of an Impact Wrestling fan if they had it where it was like WWE versus TNA Impact. At the time when they used to go by TNA Impact. But if they were to do something like that rather than having it, let's do... Because I don't mind, like, the SmackDown versus Raw. Like, I grew up playing the video games and stuff, but they don't really do that. I mean, well, they kind of do. Like, okay, I'll have to wait and see when they come out with this Survivor Series pay-per-view, because they usually do that at that time. But... yeah, but I'm like, if they really have it, like, because I feel like this is just my own, like, personal, like, written out story to, like, really have WWE get, like, those fans and just, everybody just riled up and just going crazy. But have it where, like, you don't even tell anybody, that TNA Impact is just gonna attack you guys. Like, you guys is going to be in an all-out war, bruh. Like, and it needs to get crazy. I'm not saying, like, oh, okay, let's, take a couple of chairs to Impact. And, like, nah, y'all need to take some flamethrower. Okay, maybe not flamethrowers. All right, I got a little bit carried away. I'm bringing myself back now. But no, like, jokes aside, though, like, if they were to do something along those lines, where Impact Wrestling and WWE were to like bump heads, like I think that would be seriously one of the dopest storylines ever in wrestling history. Because I'm saying, or even where it's like WWE or AEW or something, like I think that that would be so good. Because so here's the thing with WWE. Now this is what I have to say about them. WWE is still one of the biggest brands in wrestling. Probably it still is the biggest brand in wrestling. So that's why I'm like, I can't really see them going out of business anytime soon. But the opportunity of going out of business is still like, it can happen, you know, for WWE, because they just don't really. My thing is this: if they were to listen more to the fans, you know, have it where these wrestlers is out here doing like, because there's this one wrestler and there people are like overly critical of her, and I never really sat down and seen her wrestle before. I mean, she's been in the company for a while now, but she did disappear, but she came back. But her name is Eva Marie. Now it's not that like have a hatred towards her, but it's just, you know, her wrestling style. But I'm like, nah, she has to know something, and then this is just her character. Ain't no way she's really wrestling like this. Like, nah, my thing is this: you can't get into the company, right, and not have no wrestling experience unless you trying to be a ring announcer, one of the backstage people, or a producer. But even then, like, if you have it where artist is Bad Bunny, you know, that man, bruh, like, okay, to sit down and talk about that, like, that man killed it when he was, when he joined, well, he didn't join, but it went as far as to where they were saying, like, nah, he's a professional wrestler, the way he was wrestling, cause he's good, like, he's honestly good. I'm like, I don't know who, his trainer was, but I'm like, hey, yo, contact me, cause I would definitely, love to do some wrestling stuff, but I'm saying, like, you know, you have it where an artist, like, man, this guy, he just only wrestled that one time, but he did better than wrestlers that's been wrestling probably a lot longer than him. And that's why I'm like, hey, yo, you have it where some wrestling fans, like, that's why I'm like, I would really love to like find like another person that's like a wrestling fan like me. And really the only YouTuber that I know that's a wrestling fan like me is Tyrone Magnus. And I think that would be like a good like first wrestling match for me. I feel like that definitely would bring in a lot of attention and stuff. And I hands down would love to do like some sort of like wrestling. Like if there was like a wrestling promotion that contacted the both of us and they was like, hey, we would like for you guys to like go like head to head at our pay-per-view or something, I would do it. I hands down would do it. Because I'm like, for one, I am a fan of Tyrone Magnus. For two, I'm a fan of wrestling. To have, like, that match come together, oh, yeah. And you best believe, like, because my thing is, like, look, me doing this podcast episode, I'm not trying to brag, but I'm just saying, like, I believe that I'm good on the microphone. So that's why they just, like, I don't know, I'm like looking at this game and then got distracted, so I'm not even gonna look at any more games or anything. But anyways, but no, like, I would say that I'm good on the microphone. I feel like that I could get a crowd riled up and say some things, crack some jokes, have some fun and all of that. But I'm not, my thing is this, like, but if I'm not, like, if there were like some issues or flaws or problems, I don't want nobody trying to write into me talking about, oh, you're not good at the microphone, you do this and that. Like, no, you are not. No, I'm want to learn from actual professionals. I'm not gonna go and take it from some kid that, you know, like, that's sitting there like, oh, just waiting for me to make that one wrong move. I'm like, no, get out of here. But anyways, no, I would definitely go through all the trainings that I need to go through, practice whatever it needs, whatever it takes to, you know, to actually sit down and do some stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like, I really don't know. Like, I don't know too much about, like, those wrestling pages like WrestleMania and What Culture Wrestling or anything else. But, yeah, because I'm like, I really don't know too many wrestling fans on YouTube and stuff. So, we're even on any other platform. But I hands down, I would, bro. That's why I'm like, they need to have, like, a YouTube, like, wrestling league or something. Like, I don't know, like an amateur, like, you know, wrestling or something where, but it's like for, you know, on YouTube. Bro, I'm telling you, man, I got music, I got some ideas, bro. I really do. I'm gonna have to, like, you know, write that down or something and let it actually come to light one day. Just go and hire a bunch of like people that want to do some wrestling stuff and just see what they can do. But that's the thing where I'm like, I want to like be in business with an actual professional wrestler that like shares that same vision, where it's like, okay, we hire these amateurs, and I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to bring like some actual action to a wrestling show, or do you want to bring comedy to a wrestling? Because that's why I'm like, okay, it's either going to be some dark stuff or it's going to be some comedy stuff. Because I feel like those are the two things that could get a lot of emotions. But if it's just bland and boring, and it's like, oh, I got a beef with you. I don't know why I got a beef with you, but I got a beef with you. And that other wrestler's like, yeah, I got a beef with you too. And nobody doesn't really know. Like, it has to be more than that. It has to be like a lead up, a build up to it and stuff. And yeah, I'm like, that's why, and I remember they were, who is it, USA Network, they were saying that with WWE or Monday Night Raw, and how they was like, oh yeah, you guys need to be more darker. And it's like, no, that's facts. Like, they do. Like, and I think that's probably why it's like, you got so many kids watching rather than AEW. It's like, yeah, you got kids watching, but it's an adult show. It is a show for adults. Like, them guys be up on there cussing. They be up there going crazy, bleeding left and right. And I'm like, that's what a wrestling fan, regardless of whatever age they are, whether they're a kid or a full-grown adult or an old elderly person, a wrestling fan loves stuff like that. I have never met a wrestling fan that was all like, oh, I hate the blood. I hate all of that. I hate all the action. No, well then you need to, I don't know, watch one of the like wrestling talk shows or something where they don't be up on there fighting and stuff. Like, yeah, watch the show that Caleb Braxton does. Shout out to Caleb Braxton. I'm not trying to like cap or say anything bad or derogatory towards her wrestling show. I actually think it's good, and I, don't come after me. She's somebody why haven't she been like, she hasn't done no wrestling stuff? I feel like she had been a dope wrestler. She seems like she, has a like personality to her and stuff. And that's why I'm like, that's what you need. You need a wrestler with a personality. And I'm like, or they need to be like super good in the ring. But it's like, you can't really, it seems like when they try to like have that stuff like smack dead in the middle, they're gonna be messing up, and I'm like, and I don't know, like, there are wrestlers out there where they are good in the ring and they are good on the microphone, but at times it just seems like, they do like especially WWE, they'll do these build-ups for these wrestlers. I remember they did a build-up for this one wrestler. He looked just like Dave Bautista. I think his name was like Mason Ryan or something like that. But anyways, they did this whole build-up for him, making it seem like, oh, he was gonna be this animal like behemoth wrestler or something. And I'm like, bro, okay, so if that's going to be the case where he's going to be this behemoth wrestler, he's going to be, okay, have him going up against some behemoth people. Like, have it where because my thing is like, look at how they did Braun Strowman when he very first got into the scenes. This man was destroying everybody. And that's why I'm like, that's what you guys need to be doing with these big wrestlers, where it's like, okay, they make their name and territory and mark their name and territory and stuff. And, people are like, oh, okay, this guy crazy. But yeah, because they had where like Braun Strowman, he was out here flipping ambulance trucks and all of that. What other crazy things was he doing? Like, they had Braun Strowman up there doing some wild stuff. But then as the time progressed on, it just kind of seemed like it slowed down. And that's why they ended up letting him go. I'm like, my thing is this. You guys have this story going. Keep it going. Just honestly, just keep it going until there's just no or until eventually there's an end point where he retires. Okay, it's like, okay, he retires, all right, let's move on to the next wrestler and have it where they give them this push and all of that. But it's like, at times they just, they don't really be giving like wrestlers like big enough pushes and things, and then that's why you'll see it where they'll wrestle for a short period of time and then they're gone. Like, there's this one wrestler, he used to go by the name Evan Bourne, but now he goes by a completely different name, but he wrestles on AEW. And I didn't even know that he was wrestling on AEW until I was looking at his face and was all like, hey, yo, he looked familiar. Like, I've seen that man before. I'm like, I know exactly who that is. And I looked it up. I was like, Evan Bourne. And I was like, there we go. That's who that guy is. And so, anyways, I can't even think of the name he goes by now. But, yeah, but it's like they didn't give him a big enough push in wrestling. I'm like, that. I think they did, like, at moments, but it was like what, maybe like a push for like the Intercontinental Championship or United States Championship, or maybe he might have had it where he did some like tag team and stuff. But other than that, it was like they didn't really do a whole lot with him, and so that's why I'm like, yeah, you guys definitely need to work on that. WWE. It's like if you guys are gonna go and have it where these wrestlers are, on your promo or on your program and stuff, like, yeah, do some like crazy wild things with them. Just don't be all like, oh, okay, let's just have it where they wrestle a couple of times and then they're gone. It's like, nah, man, do more with them. But anyways, but no, back on me though. I feel like I just kind of got like carried away talking on other stuff. But no, like, if there's ever a time though, where I post a video, because I would like to do that at some point in time in my life where I get into wrestling and start practicing. You best believe I will let you guys know, let y'all know my journey, definitely get more into shape and things, and yeah, overall, just kill it, do something, whether it's like some cruiserweight type wrestling or full on like, I have like a wrestling match like Bad Bunny at WrestleMania, or, whatever, like whether, or like that's, yeah, well, I meant like cruiserweight, but it's just like, like wrestlers my size or something, but like whether it's like an amateur pro wrestling type stuff or full on big leagues like AEW or WWE or Impact, whatever, I'm down for it, 100%. I would love to do some wrestling stuff. So let's make it happen, guys. Let's put a good word out there. It's like, hey, there's this guy named TMossBoss, and he's ready. So let's do some things. But anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening and viewing this on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're viewing this on the podcast streaming service, make sure you follow or subscribe, however it's set up. Make sure you subscribe to one of my 34 YouTube channels. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and Instagram at TMossBoss. Make sure you follow my Facebook page at TMossBoss fan page. Also, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss for SeatGeek, and they'll knock $20 off your next purchase. But I really don't know the business of that code right now. It might be working, it might not be working, so you just gotta use it and see. If it doesn't, then go use somebody else. But if it does, then cool. But anyways, talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.